doubleheader on ESPN. Coming to you live above the Heineken River Deck here at Pier 17. Welcome back to Jalen and Jacoby. Jalen Rose, Jokic is the MVP. We now know that man, Rudy Gobert, is the Defensive Player of the Year. Ben Simmons came in second. It is his third career Defensive Player of the Year. However, he's going to have to show that defense tonight because it is Game 2 between the Jazz and the Clippers. What do the Clippers need to do to even the series?
Well, it'd be nice if you could try to slow down Donovan Mitchell, but nobody in the playoffs can slow down Donovan Mitchell. He's proven that. They're going to need Paul George to play like an all-NBA performer. There are too many games in the playoffs in his career where he shoots less than 25%. In the last 3 or 4 games in this year's playoffs, he's been subpar. He got some numbers late in the fourth quarter last game, and he helped them get back into the game, and they had a chance to win it. But they're going to need him from beginning to end, and not just offensively. Whatever happened to, like, the Clippers letting us know that they're all NBA defenders locked down on the perimeter?
Remember late at 2 in the morning when I found out that Kawhi Leonard and Paul George are going to be on the same team? I was like, oh, they're going to stop everybody. They're going to stop everybody. You're never going to be able to score on that team. And then Donovan Mitchell has 45.
Well, the biggest thing that the Clippers are trying to iron out is what to do at guard. See, I've been talking about this all year. And what does Donovan Mitchell play for the other team? Guard. See, in the last series, they went to man. They went to Kennard. They gave Rondo minutes. They're trying to figure out what to do at guard. They tried to get Patrick Beverly back in and got him 6 minutes in the previous game. And so while they're trying to figure it out, you know what Donovan Mitchell doing? Work. He doing work. And so if they get Conley back, now all of a sudden, you can use Mitchell on the ball, you can use Mitchell off the ball, but shout to Royce O'Neal too. He's a terrific defender on the perimeter, and his ability to shot make now all of a sudden allows them to play a version of small ball alongside the Stifle Tower, Rudy Gobert.
And listen, Kawhi Leonard was fine in Game 1. But remember that Mavs series when Kawhi Leonard was like, I'm a former Finals MVP.
Can't be fine.
I'm one of the best 5 players, 2-way players in the entire league. He really put his stamp on that Mavs series in a way that he didn't in Game 1 of this series. They're going to need Paul George and Kawhi Leonard to be the two that were on the phone with each other deciding we're going to team up and make a championship run.
And at 3 in the morning, when you saw that Paul George was going to the Clippers, you know what you didn't think? That the 2 series that the Clippers played, that each guard would be scoring 40 on them regularly.
That's a good point.
It ain't just like, Donovan Mitchell doing it. Like Luka just had 46 and 14 on them too. So this is a real thing that they're going to have to figure out. And lastly, the Jazz are a terrific 3-point shooting team. So when the Clippers go back home, when the Clippers go back home, I think that they'll do a better job of defending the 3-point line, and their role players will play a lot better. But Utah's making that 3 ball at a historic clip.
On the Bucks, however, Mr. Rose, the best show in basketball in the playoffs are the big 3 for the Nets. James Harden and Jeff Green are progressing well. They're going to be out in this one. However, it doesn't matter when you have KD playing like he is and Kyrie playing like he is and the supporting players of the Nets playing like they are. What do the Bucks need to get back in this series?
So during the regular season and even in the playoffs, you're going to hear so much talk about role players. And rightfully so. Basketball is a team game. But you know what allows them to fall into those roles? When you have your stars and your superstars performing as such. See, the team gets built around the strengths and weaknesses of the best player, not the other way around. And for the Milwaukee Bucks, they need Giannis to shoot the ball with confidence outside of the paint. He's not only struggling from 3, he's struggling from mid-range. He's even struggling from the free throw line. So what happens when you're a dominant force like Giannis and you can't make free throws? You're not driving as much because you don't want to get fouled.
Not driving as much, and you're not hitting jumpers, and what are you doing? When you look at the production of the net, the Bucks, we'll call them a big 3, I guess. Look at the difference in production.
Well, and y'all hear that, Bucks? Big 3, I guess. Y'all deserve that. When James Harden go out in the first minute, it's one thing to lose Game 1, but to get waxed like they did in Game 2 and they was trailing by 49, that's unacceptable.
You remember Chris Middleton this season?
That was unacceptable.
Chris Middleton in the bubble? Where's that Chris Middleton?
Yes.
Where is that Chris Middleton?
I saw a play, and shout out to Kyrie Irving, who's competing defensively and playing with pace. But Chris Middleton is 6'7". He shouldn't do a post-up and get his shot blocked by Kyrie Irving.
Good point.
That shouldn't happen.
That's a good point.
Okay? And so I need to see Middleton. I need to see Drew Holiday respond. But you know what happens? Players tend to play better on their home floor in front of their home fans.
They do.
And I anticipate the Bucks doing that in Game 3.
Well, I just want to give a big shout out to a gentleman, Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin. Now he doesn't score 20 points. He doesn't fill the stat sheet.
They need
However,
him.
one thing he does do, which I did not expect, he's playing D. Like, he's got Giannis a lot of the time, moving his feet, frustrating Giannis, frustrating the bigs. I like what he's doing on both sides of the floor, and I knew he would contribute, but I didn't know he would mean this much to them defensively.
Blake is a classic example of a player, and Derrick Rose falls into this too. Of everybody wants to be a Hall of Famer or All-NBA or All-Star, but the biggest compliment you can pay a professional athlete is calling them a vet. And what happens with a guy like Blake Griffin, you go to the Clippers, you're the franchise player. You're on the marquee. They need you to bring it every night. But the more you play in the league and the older you get, that pecking order changes. So now when you start talking about the Nets, how many players of importance are you going to name before you get to Blake?
4.
So now you appreciate him as your 5th best player versus other teams that paid him to be their 1st, 2nd, and 3rd best player. And that's quite all right.
Sure.
Because he's getting it done on a championship caliber team.
And on defense, we have some news about LeBron James.
The King.
And next season, he wore number 23. And now he's going to change his jersey number back to number 6 with the Lakers. Why is he doing this?
Marketing and promotions. Today, we're going to be showing highlights on TV about LeBron James wearing number 6. He got bounced in the first round this year.
Yeah, we're not talking about LeBron.
And here's the other thing. When you get bounced in the first round wearing number 23, that's another reason to change your number. Okay? And when you're doing a movie, Space Jam this offseason, Goons and Tunes, he in movie mode.
Kids are excited for Space Jam.
He in movie mode.
My kids are excited for Space Jam.
He in movie mode.
Let me say this, is when he wore 23, I thought he was sort of trying to invoke the spirit of like Michael Jordan and some of those great players that wore 23. But I know what's happening. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. Do you know what he's trying to do with this change? He's trying to invoke the spirit of Lance Stevenson, the last player to wear number 6 for the Lakers. My God, Lance. He needs a little bit of that Lance energy.
Grader.
I'm telling you, next year you'll see LeBron James is going to be strumming the guitar after he hits threes. He's got that Lance energy. That big Lance energy is what he needs, and that is why he's making this switch to number 6. He'll never admit it, but I know that's the case.
And when LeBron James put down number 23, you know who's going to run and pick it up? Caruso.
The GOAT. That's what LeBron calls him. LeBron calls him the GOAT. Moving on, looking at football, all eyes are on